episode of Chicago Bears Weekly. Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Epiode Sports signing in for Season 9, Episode 2 of Chicago Bears Weekly. And in this week's episode, I'm going to do a Bears mock draft. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to do a few runs of it, and it's not like a predictable thing. I'm doing this kind of on the fly with trades and all that type of things that can happen during the draft. And on top of that, I just want to give you guys a prerequisite warning before I go into this. There is no way that I am a draft expert. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am not a draft expert, but I want to do this as a little bit of an experiment, have a little bit of fun. I'll probably revisit this at times closer to the draft because we know we're about a month away, and I still think things can change. We still have other events that can happen that can make this draft process change for not only the Bears, but the entire league. But I'm not going to make this intro any longer. Let's dive into this Bears mock draft. Without further ado, let's dive into it. This will be one of those things where I'll just talk about my thoughts about the Bears' entire draft as I go along with this process. So if you guys want to stick around and get my opinions on it, just stick around through the whole video. But nonetheless, we're on the NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. I'm going to pick the Bears, of course, and I'm going to do the entire draft, not just the first round. And let's get into this. And it's going to start. To move back one spot, we get 3 7th-round picks, a round 2 spot next year, and a round 4 spot in next year's draft, just for them to move back one spot. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I probably will do this. I probably will do this, but that is a lot to give up for just to move up one spot. You get 3 7th-round picks. You can use as trade ammo. You get a 2nd round next year and a 4th just for the 49ers to move up one spot. I'm going to have to take this. And they get Travis Hunter, which is fine because I wouldn't have taken Travis Hunter, especially for what the Bears need to do, which is crazy that Travis Hunter actually fell this far. And I've done these in practice rounds before. And Travis Hunter fell in most of the rounds of the runs that I've done of this, which is actually kind of crazy. But when we're talking about we're getting a 1st round next year, a 2nd round next year, a 3rd round next year, and I'm not gonna take this deal because the Bears at this spot, they need to take the best player. We need to still build this roster. And we get 3 5th-round picks, but for the Eagles to move up, I wouldn't do this. I don't see the Bears moving out the 1st round, so I'm going to reject that. And we need tackle. Kelvin Banks is still on the board. Jaylon Walker at the edge position is still on the board. And I've done practice run with this, and Will Campbell at times have still been at the board. Tyler Warren is a very good tight end that you can pick at this spot. And I'm going to go with more of what the Bears need. I think we need edge rusher. I think we need a tackle. Kelvin Banks, I think, is a very solid pick at tackle. And Mike Green has been rising, at least of what I saw in drafts and things that have come off the combine and as well as the senior role. But I'm going to take Jaylon Walker, the edge rusher out of Georgia, to kind of help with Montez Sweat, which we can still use another edge rusher outside of Sweat. I like Grady Jarrett. I like the Dangbo, but I still think this D-line can use more depth. Now with this, we're moving 20 spots back, and we're getting 59th overall pick, 91st overall pick, and I'm gonna move on from this one. This one, we only move back 4 spots. We get a 3rd round, 2 5ths, and a 7th, and next year's 6th. I think this was one to consider. We get a first round, a second round, and all of this is next year. I don't think the Bears, because the Washington Commanders' first round pick is probably going to be one of those late picks. So I possibly would not do this. Now, if Washington was not a good football team, I might have taken this, but no. In the division with the Lions, they have to get better. No. The Cowboys, when you don't move back far, but I still think I'm going to have to accept that one, get more draft capital, and I'm not doing this trade. Now, Luther Burden is actually dropped, which is actually kind of insane. But we still have a tackle in Odunze on the board. We still can get Travion Henderson or Judkins. And we still have two picks that's right around each other. And we've already got our edge. So with this pick, we can go wide receiver here. I think Burton is a steal at this position, to be honest. And I'm not sure what the Bears are going to do. They have a young quarterback. We can use some offensive line help. I'm going to take Odunze from Minnesota with this pick. And I'm not doing this trade, nor this one. And I think this is where we could possibly get that running back to help with DeAndre Swift, to get that running back to help this running game be more successful. And you guys are going to call me Homer for this, but I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins from The Ohio State University, the national champions, to kind of help with the running back depth. Get a physical guy in the backfield who can make some explosive plays, run people over. I like this pick, and not just because I'm biased. We moved back 20 spots. I'm not doing this trade. Hell no, not with Green Bay and not with the Lions. So, with Phillip Johnson, he could possibly still been a pick if I had waited. Tight end would be nice, but I could still see the Bears possibly getting on the defensive side of the ball with this one, with losing Jack Sanborn. I think the Bears linebacker position can use a little bit more depth. I think the tight end position can use a little bit more depth. But with this, I am going to take the best player that we need, and that is Schlesinger from UCLA. Because the Bears lost Sanborn, this one is intriguing. You get a second rounder, you only move back 3 spots. I think this one is probably when I'm done the most moving around with me playing with this thing. And you still get a tight end, you still get another wide receiver you can take, and you still get another player you can get on your defensive line. Now, me personally, I think the Bears' interior offensive line can use some young depth. You got Joe Thuney, but he's 32, so you got to get a little bit younger there. You got Jonah Jackson at 28. You got Drew Dahlman he's still 26, so he's still kind of young. But, like this said, the Bears need depth in their offensive line. And I'm going to take Tate Ratledge out of Georgia to get depth on the interior of this Bears offensive line. I think you got to take advantage of that opportunity, and you got to get the best player there. So at the end of the day, I think that is one of the players that I believe the Bears are going to take. Get interior help. You already rebuilt the offensive line. I think you still go for that. So I like that pick for the Bears. A+, and I've got all A ratings. So it's not like you're wrong. And then we got back-to-back picks in the 5th round, and I'm not taking that offer. Safety position, D-line can use some depth. And we got back-to-back picks, so I can get 2 guys here. So I'm going to take Sanker out of Virginia to get that depth with the safety position because of Kevin Byard's age. He still has good football left, but you got to get some depth. And the Brisker concussion history, kind of question it just a little bit. And then with the defensive line depth, you got Pickens, you got a guy like Jarrett, you got Dexter, and I still think this defensive line can use a bit more depth. So I'm going to take Aeneas Peoples from Virginia Tech to get more defensive line depth for this Bears defense. I think so far this draft is going how I like it. You get the needs when we're talking about running back to get a guy behind Swift. I'm not going to take this trade. You get a guy at that tackle position because me personally, I'm not exactly sold on Braxton Jones in a long-term solution at left tackle. It's still remaining to be seen. And on top of that, you get that edge rusher to pair with Sweat with a guy like Jaylon Walker. So I like this draft. And let's see, we can get some corner depth. We got Johnson, we got Stevenson, we got a guy like Gordon. And we can get some more edge rush help. But I think if you can get a guy, I'm okay, this was a little bit of a biased pick here. I'm going to take Seth McLaughlin because you can get more depth. I think Seth McLaughlin is dropping because of the injury that he suffered at Ohio State last year. I think if he does not suffer that injury and he was a part of the national championship run, his draft stock might be a little higher. But we're speaking about an Achilles injury. He could be in a position where he doesn't have to play right away. And on top of that, he could be in a position where he gets to develop behind experienced offensive line with Jackson, a former Buckeye in his own right, with Dahlman, and with Thuney. So I'm liking this. Now, we can use another wide receiver, Dante Thornton. I think is a really good player. I saw him a little bit at Tennessee. I think we use some depth there. We've already sorted out the depth of the interior of our offensive line. We got a depth position in Odunze. So I think you get more depth at wide receiver and you take Thornton. I know Ty Hamilton, you guys know I'm a Buckeye. He's on the board, so that would be a steal. But another position we can go, I think the Bears can go, is get a little bit of corner depth, maybe some tight end depth with Urasek out of Georgia. I think I'm going to go with the tight end depth and get Urasek out of Georgia. I know we signed, I can't remember his name from Miami. You guys leave it in the comments. I'm not sure. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head. Smythe from Miami to help with the tight end depth. So I do like that. Now, we got our corner. I think we just get a corner back here because we got back-to-back picks, build through the draft, and take Dodson. And I think we could get another linebacker or running back, but I don't think you get another one after taking Judkins. I know I'm going biased to get 3 Buckeyes in this draft, but I'm taking Cody Simon. And the Bears, as we got 2 more picks to go. And I think we can get some more D-line depth. And this, in the later drafts, is all about getting depth. I think we get more interior help on the defensive line. Cross, I've seen play. He's a solid player. Stackhouse, I've seen play a little bit. Solid player. And I think I'm going to go with the interior defensive line deck and take Cross and 252 pick in this draft. And I'm going to get a more depth position, probably get a special teams type of guy. So I'm taking Stout out of Western Kentucky. So as this goes, we got Jaylon Walker, we got Arianta Ursay, I hope I'm not butchering that, Judkins from the Ohio State, Schlesinger linebacker, more depth, interior offensive lineman Ratledge to get more depth, Sanker at safety because I'm not sure of Bayard's future with the Bears. I hope he stays because he had a good season last year. Peebles to get more interior defensive line depth. Seth McLaughlin, he doesn't have to play right away. He's still recovering from the Achilles. He can get some knowledge behind Thuney, Dahlman, and Jackson. Get some depth at wide receiver with Thornton. Depth at tight end with Urasek. And more special teams type of guy, Dodson. Cody Simon is a sleeper. I know I might be a little bit biased. Cody Simon is a bit of a sleeper. He was tremendous in that national championship run for Ohio State. Run defensive player of the game in the Rose Bowl against Oregon. He was all over the field. He led the linebackers. He had 7 sacks last year. So I think he's a bit of a sleeper player in this draft for any team that takes him. Cross and Stout. I think this might be the run. I might be good with this one. But I'm going to run this back one more time just for old fun's sake.
Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. For me, it is very important to have a VPN to protect my online privacy. It'd be very, very creepy if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did online. So why let your internet provider really do that to you online? The best thing to do is to get yourself a VPN, and why not go with the ExpressVPN, the best VPN available. Personally, I like it for the fact that you can unlock Netflix shows that you do not get in the US market. Now, one show that I've started to get myself into is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You search Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the US, doesn't come up. But you can switch your location to Canada, and you can research Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and bam, it pops up right then and there, and you can catch up on your episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, if you click the link in the description below, you will get 3 free months of ExpressVPN. Just by clicking the link below and you sign up today, you will get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. All you have to do is click the link down below and you will get ExpressVPN. Now, let's just get back to the video.
I'm not going to take that trade, move back 3 spots. I'm not going to take that trade, move back 2. And I'm not going to take that because they're going to take Genty. And in this scenario, I'm taking Genty I'm taking Genty at that running back position. Now, the last one we did a lot of trades and a lot of maneuvering, but I don't see a lot happening in this scenario. And I'm crazy. Why is Travis Hunter falling in all of these mock drafts that I've been doing? Is that a sign? Not sure. Not getting out of the second round, so no. Not trading with them. We move back a couple spots. We do acquire more picks in this draft, but I'm not taking that. Cowboys, no. We did get some safety help, but I think you get that later on. We do need some D-line help. We do get wide receiver. I don't know why. I think I'm going to take is either Donovan Jackson or Connolly Jr. to help with this offensive line. And I'm taking... I know Connolly has a tendency to be a left tackle, but Jackson, he proved himself well, moving to left tackle when he had the injury to Josh Simmons at Ohio State. Now I'm a biased one, so I'm going to take Donovan Jackson. He proved his versatility. He can move inside and outside of that offensive line. I'm not doing this trade. I'd say this one's probably not going to be bunch trades. And we can still get defensive line up with Derek Alexander. Walter Nolan is 27th ranked. I don't know how he dropped. Connolly, you get a tackle, but I think I'm going to go with more interior defensive line depth with Walter Nolan. I just think this one, I think the first one was more of what I would tend to do, kind of add more capital, try to get more depth within this football team and still keep it young. But I'm not opposed to getting Genty at 10 at running back. He's one of those guys that can, I think, help this team and help impact the Rares running game tremendously with the way Ben Johnson can do things. I'm not going to take this offer. I'm not going to take that offer, and we move out of the third round. I'm not going to take that. We still got Judkins on the board, which I personally, not just being a Buckeye fan, I personally would not take Genty at 10. As a Bears fan and as a guy who think you can still get value at running back later in the draft, as much as I love Genty's talent, I still think you can get an impact running back later in the draft and you can address more issues. That's just my opinion. If Will Campbell was on the board, I would take Campbell. If a guy like a Banks from Texas is on the board, Josh Simmons could be on the board. I'm not sure how this injury is going to hold up, but I'm going to take either offensive lineman or the edge rusher, me personally, at that 10th pick, unless it's just everybody is off the board at that point, and Genty is the best option. That's me personally, that's the only way. Not to slight Genty, but I just think you can get more value at running back for this Bears unit in the later round, despite Genty's talent. Maybe that's just me looking at things. Maybe that's just me. But with this one, I'm going to take the linebacker because of the loss of Sanborn to help with that linebacker depth outside of Edwards and Edmunds. You're going to lean a little bit like that. So I wouldn't be opposed to the Bears taking a linebacker in this draft, period, just to kind of help with that depth because Sanborn moved on to join the Dallas Cowboys. So we don't have a pick until 148. That's going to sit back and ride this out. It's good to see my Ohio State boys getting gone now. So, okay, so we got 148 and we're coming up on our pick. We got corner on the board. I'm not trading that. We can get a 6 next year to move back 3 spots. I'm going to look at that. We move back 2 spots. Let me see. We compare these. We get a 6 and we get a 5th. And we move. I think I'm going to take that one. And we can still, no, I'm not doing that next year. And the Dolphins, no. Okay, so I think we can use corner depth. Like I said earlier, we can use safety depth. I think those are the two positions I would go here. And I think I'm going to go more safety depth than corner depth. So I'm going to take Bauman out of Oklahoma, help with the Bears' safety depth. So I think, like I said, Kevin Byard, Brisker. I hope Brisker is all. I think I saw something earlier where he cleared concussion protocol, but Brisker has a tendency to bend. He's been a bit hurt during this team with the Bears, but when he's in the lineup, he's one of the more physical safeties that we have in the NFL. So I like Brisker. It's just he has to stay on the football field, and I would take more depth if at times he's not able to go. That's just what I would do. I don't hate Brisker at all. I love Brisker, but it's just the fact that he has to stay a bit healthy for this Bears defense. And we've seen the defense kind of fall a little bit without him last year. So let's see. We're at the 7th round pick. This is where I would take depth. I would take a depth at the tight end position with Lachey. Then on top of that, we have the 240 pick. And I would go, let me see here. We've got depth at wide receiver, which I'm going to do. Take a little bit of depth at wide receiver and get Ryan out of West Virginia. Or Virginia Tech, excuse me. But that is it for the Bears mock draft. Right, that is going to conclude this week's episode of Chicago Bears Weekly. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next one. APW Sports signing out. Peace.